Hi everybody. Today I am going to share you my experience at Onsite on H1B with a 5-year-old. I was a working mother in India and I had a 5-month-old young daughter. I wanted to travel to Onsite and I I couldn't travel at the start during 2007 or so because I had just got married and I wanted to have children, and my husband was based in India. He's also into IT, but I kept trying in between, and you know how difficult it is to travel with a small kid. So I couldn't travel until it was 2014 when I got an opportunity to travel to US on H1B. Initially I was very apprehensive and didn't want to travel at all with the but then I somehow gathered courage to travel with a 5-year-old, and she had just finished kindergarten, and actually she was going to kindergarten at that time. She was turning 6, and I had some colleague over here who managed to get me a house, a 1 bedroom small house in California, in Northern California. And I when I reached, I came with a colleague of mine, and he was also with a family, and we shared with the same house, and we had some disagreement and all, and then he moved out. But initially there was nothing in the house. I some One of my colleagues, she just put just brought some grocery, some basic, some small, small amount of flour. And the next day I just went to shop. I went to Safeway, and I bought a small trolley, a second hand trolley from a neighbor, and some one more family. We just walked up to Safeway, which was almost 1 kilometer from where I stayed, and I bought so many things from Safeway, not knowing that actually so many things will not be of any use for me. But still, I had bought. I did a shopping of maybe around $300, and then I came back home, and at least I had something to cook, because the thing is that I had to start here immediately. Uh, because the kid had to go to daycare, and I came on a Friday, and Monday was the joining date for me, so the kid had to be put in the daycare. And I had talked to the daycare, but for both of us, me and my daughter, US was a very new country, and I had no relative, no friends who could come and support except my colleagues, who also I was not supposed to bother them because all of them were there, all of them were at the client location. So I somehow managed to put my kid first day in the daycare. It was something like I went for the first day and I just left her over there. It was very emotional moment for me, and even for her, and it was very difficult. We both had jet lag. She also had jet lag, and my husband was back in India because he couldn't travel because he was supposed to finish his number of months in India so that his L1 can be processed, another L1 visa can be processed. So I put my kid in the daycare, and I traveled, and I stayed. I went to office. So initial days were very struggleful. I used to run. I didn't want knew how to drive, so I couldn't take a car. And I used to come. Some colleague used to drop me in the daycare initially, and I used to walk from the daycare to my home, to my flat. uh, the flat was fine, the neighbors were good, but everybody has their own life. So I mean, it was very rarely people used to interact. Some colleagues used to help me out, but not much. I had to find my own way. I actually got to know that there was something like paratransit, which was for some women and for some disabled people who those kinds of rides we can book. Even I can book. So I started booking them, and I used to go and get the grocery, and I enrolled my daughter in a school which was nearby. So I stayed there for almost a year, and let me tell you, at client location, when you come on H1B, it's completely different world. if you come as a bachelor, it's fine, but when you come in with a small kid, it's really it's not easy. If you have some family member with you, that's fine, at least you have somebody at home to support you. But if you don't have anybody, maybe logistically means, because US is in US everything is organized, like electricity and everything will be already there, and you can somebody can help you to get the internet connection. But emotionally, you are alone. You have to be on your own. Actually, this is something which is going to help you in a longer run, because you become very independent. But to get adjusted to this, it takes a good amount of time. And and for me also it took time, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot from me, and it was quite beneficial for me. It really worked for me. uh, at client location, the client was good, but then you can't take leave, you can't work from home. That also will be very less. So you have to be it's something like completely different. And then and you have to get adjusted to it. So one I could manage the other thing, but the only thing which was very difficult to manage was loneliness. And it took me a good amount of time to really get adjusted. I had some other hiccups which I faced during my time here, but it was a great learning experience. And it has been almost 5 years now. I have been in US. Um, I went from H1 to L2. My husband came. Then we went on green card EAD. Now we finally have got our green card. So it has been a fruitful experience for me, and something which I will cherish whole my life. And I mean, God has been kind. And yeah, so I would say for all those young mothers, um don't get disappointed. You can do it, but it is good if you get some family with you when you come for the first time, at least for initial 6 months. And then slowly you can get adjusted to it. Thanks for watching my video. Please post your comments. Thank you.